Welcome everybody, Level M Diecast. We are going deep down the rabbit hole today. Really deep down the rabbit hole today. We're talking about Brookfield Collectors Guild. These are almost exclusively dealer promo models from the mid to late 90s and early 2000s. They no longer exist as a company, but they would do a lot of dealer promos. These could be given away at the dealership, or you could buy them at the dealership. Things like that. Some of them were used for marketing purposes and things like that. There's a couple different levels of how they did these. They also did a lot of NASCAR stuff kind of in the later years. A lot of Chrysler products, a lot of GM products. We're going to cover some Chrysler stuff today. I don't have any GM products. Obviously, here at Level M, we are big Mopar fans, so we're going to have a lot of Chrysler stuff when it comes to this kind of thing. These are relatively obscure. They're not unbelievably expensive or hard to find per se, but they're certainly not common. See, this one right here, we're going to take a look at first. The 1993 Intrepid. This is the new Dodge. This was quite a technologically advanced vehicle at the time when it came out, just with its drivetrain layout and, of course, all the features it had with it. This is the first generation Intrepid. This is the very first Intrepid. They also did the LHS and the Concorde, which are the Chrysler versions of the same platform. They're large, mid-size type platforms. They're bigger sedans and stuff like that. They're not the cloud cars. These came before the cloud cars. But this is the way it looked. You can see there is a little decal there on the top. There is a picture of the actual Intrepid. It was actually a pretty nice car in the front side. There is its 3.5 liter 24 valve front mounted V6, which was kind of interesting. It was a front wheel drive car. It's a very interesting transaxle in it to get kind of the overall appearance of the model. Box looks pretty nice. Nothing real fancy on the other side. Pretty standard interior picture there, which is super subpar by nowadays standards. As far as the details on the bottom, just a couple of things here. I mean, you got to remember, this was all about marketing. This was all about basically saying how basically the Intrepid was the greatest vehicle ever made. I mean, that's just the way it worked. All kinds of details here. Shows all the good stuff right there. 214 horsepower was actually a pretty good number at the time. Nowadays, you get that out of most base four-cylinder models. But it was kind of interesting. Some interesting things that they thought were a big deal. See, this is printed in Hong Kong, manufactured for Chrysler Group by Brookfield Collectors Guild, New Berlin, Wisconsin. Of course, the model itself is made in China. Now, this particular one happens to be die-cast. I have not taken the straps off of it, but the boxes are not taped, so we'll definitely slide it out of the box so we can take a look at it. So we'll just grab it to the side here. We'll slide it out ever so regularly. Kind of put the box up to the side. Comes with that nice little insert in there just to keep it held down. So, but this is the Intrepid. You see, it comes in a nice factory color as well. This does have all the moving features and opening features and stuff. You can see, not super detailed. These certainly were not like super high-end collectibles. They were still marketing materials, but they were definitely a rather impressive marketing material. Just shows a bunch of little information on the side. It's just talking about stuff that's very, very normal. You see they try to say, ooh, it looks kind of like a Viper, which is just a little bit ridiculous in my opinion. The wheels and stuff look good. It's a pretty good model. Like I said, it does come off of this platform, but this is as far as I've opened it. The straps and stuff to keep the doors closed and stuff like that does have 4 opening doors. There is the details on the back. Looks pretty good. It says Intrepid 1993. This happens to be an ES model, which is the top trim. So pop this open. It does have its little tag inside of there to show that it is a authentic model. Other than that, there's nothing in there. Just an open trunk. It doesn't even have the spare tire, nothing like that in there. But pretty cool looking. Details on the mirrors as well. So not too shabby, and then nothing fancy on the bottom. Just more packaging and stuff like that. So that is pretty cool. When we're going to set that to the side, we won't fight to get that back in the box. I got some other stuff. We're going to cover, we got 5 more models here. So that's the only Intrepid. Now, they did do several colors. They didn't make every color of every factory color, but they made several colors. This one also came in a gray color and a blue color as well. Unfortunately, this is the only one that I have. You could probably pick these up on eBay. They're probably not too bad. You could probably pick them up for, I don't know, somewhere in the neighborhood of about 80 bucks nowadays. This is how most of these models came, though, including pretty much all of the GM ones and some of the NASCAR stuff as well. These are all considered 1/24 scale, although some of them push 1/25 scale. This happens to be all plastic. So these ones right here are all plastic. That is the Chrysler Cirrus. That is the actual cloud car. We can pull this guy out and take a look at him. Slide the little box out of here. There's a lot of packaging material with these. They were definitely a collector type of thing, but not exactly the most fanciness. Packaging was not all that great. I don't think they expected people to open them too much. But not too much you've ever seen a 1/24 scale Chrysler Cirrus. This is I think this might be a 99 or a 2000, but it's all plastic. But it's pretty nicely detailed up. No opening moving features, nothing like that. Does have a nice detailed interior as well. There is your little deets on the back. Get that to move out of the way a little bit. It's a pretty nice car. I always thought the this generation of cloud cars was actually pretty nice. They were actually pretty decent cars. They were kind of boring. They were definitely boring cars, but they were not too bad for being just an average deal. This is just held in by some zip ties and stuff like that. They do have rubber tires on there, so it looks pretty good. You can see that top wheel is moving. It's just a solid piece of metal that goes across for the axles, but again, nothing opens or anything like that. They're not particularly beefy, but they're not particularly fragile either. It's kind of an interesting in-between thing. These models, like I said, if anything, they were meant to be displayed. Just trying to get those little flaps back in there. There we go. So I can get this slid back in the box. They don't come with like certificate of authenticity or anything crazy like that. That wasn't something that was really needed at the time. Although Hot Wheels did a lot of that stuff at the same time in the same era. Let's see if I can get this back in the box. It's kind of a pain in the butt. There we go. Get that slapped in there, slapped in there. There we go. It's okay. I mean, the display box wasn't all that great. I wasn't a huge fan of how they're being displayed, but I mean, it is what it is. Now, if you don't like the Cirrus, of course, they did do the Stratus itself, and this one happens to be in silver, and I happen to like silver a lot. As you guys know, silver is a very, very cool color. You can see the windshield wipers there separating from the windshield just a little bit. Not super high quality plastic either, so they are a little bit sensitive to plastic or to temperature changes. These ones happen to be in somebody's attic before I got my hands on them, so they've been through the ringer. But that one is especially nice. I really like the Stratus, that particular generation of Stratus, which is kind of cool. Now, they've done some other ones too. These ones are not displayable boxes or anything like that. These ones are from '94. So a little bit of little specs on there, stuff like that, which is kind of cool. Now, this one is the Neon two-door, the SCCA racing car. So if you remember the first generation Neon, they actually had a Neon series with SCCA, and people would race Neons. And of course, they had big neon on the side, and they had neon letter type on there, and all kinds of stuff like that. So I'll go ahead and pull this guy out here. So in case you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, it probably rings a pretty big bell now. So there is your first generation Neon. Neon Racing, it says on there. SCCA Club Racing. Number 95 for this particular one. That one looks interesting. Does have PPG on there, of course. The factory wheels looks good. I mean, the first generation Neon is definitely a car that just really was not, you know, touched really by anybody in the collector market. This is a pretty niche item. You can see the taillights there as well. This is kind of often pink and yellow, kind of an interesting look to it. The interior is completely factory though. You know, like I said, these models weren't necessarily supposed to be hyper detailed or anything like that, but they are very, very realistic. And it does look pretty good. There is the headlights and stuff with the off colors and things like that. Looks kind of interesting. I do have just a regular normal two-door factory neon that we're going to take a look at as well. So in case you're not feeling the whole SCCA racing version of that, I do have a regular one as well. So get this guy slid back in there. At some point in time, I do want to get these displayed. But you guys know, watching my channel and stuff, 124 scale is really not my thing. But I do really like Chrysler products, and I especially like the weird stuff. The weird stuff. All right, so here is our two-door. This happens to be the Plymouth version. Yes, the Plymouth Laser versus the Dodge Laser. Or I'm sorry, the Neon. Sorry about that. They did have Plymouth Laser. It was the Mitsubishi Eclipse and Plymouth Laser, Eagle Talon. The first generation, the Plymouth did not survive past the first generation. Slide out. There we go. So this one is much, much better looking. This one is the espresso package, which was just a trim level, which had some pretty nice wheel covers on there, which looks pretty good. Two-tone wheel covers, looks pretty good. It says espresso on it. Lapis blue. This is a pretty common color, pretty popular color as well. It says Plymouth on the back, just a pretty standard little spoiler on there. Powered by a little 2-cylinder, 4-cylinder. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. When I was in my late teen, early 20s, I had a girlfriend who had a neon, two-door neon, and she wrecked it into a Jeep at a parking in a red light, which was kind of funny. But it was a pretty cool car. It was all right. It was a relatively large and heavy car for what it was. I really wish these had opening features. I am not sure if they ever did the neon like they did the Intrepid we were looking at, because that would be really, really cool. But I don't think I've ever come across one. Not that I particularly have been searching for it either. So let's see here. Just pop this down in there. There we go. Now, if you guys know about the first generation neon, you do know that they did make a 4-door neon. It wasn't just in 2-door. So this one happens to be the 4-door neon. The Dodge version, of course, that 2-door was a Plymouth. Not that it really matters, because the neon was one of the most ridiculous brand engineered models ever. You literally just pull off the Dodge symbol or put the Plymouth symbol on there. That's literally all they did. And I think it was they actually had a Chrysler version that was sold outside the U.S. As well. Chrysler Neon. All right, so here is the last one I got. This one is the 4-door Neon, which looks pretty good. It's, like I said, it's the exact same as the 2-doors. Nothing fancy about it. They did a really good job on the wheels, though. The wheels are spot on. And the 4-door is kind of interesting. The 4-door definitely looks like a more cheap model than the other ones. Now, this looks a little bit off, and they are just a hair off scale from each other. So having this neon next to that Stratus or the Cirrus, they're not 100% perfect in scale, but they're not very far off. The Cirrus and Stratus, those ones, if you put that next to the Intrepid, they are perfect. But for some reason, the neon is just a little bit off. So there is the details in the back. Just says Dodge with the normal red taillights. Again, just solid axles, nothing fancy on there. But still kind of cool. Kind of cool to get some promo models, and kind of cool to get something from the bottom of the barrel on the channel. It's been a little bit since I've been able to pull out something truly oddball and truly weird. So we're going to throw that guy up there. And there you go. That is a little bit of a showcase for the Brookfield Collectors Guild. Some Chrysler promo models. They made a ton of GM stuff. They did some NASCAR stuff. But like I said, about early 2000s, early to mid 2000s, maybe 2004-ish, they ceased operations. I'm sure somebody owns the rights to the property and stuff like that. But as far as like remaking these stuff, that stuff's completely gone. Trashed in the barrel, never to come back again. So there you go. Let me know what you guys think about that. Let me know what you think about that. Deep well dives into some collecting, and we'll try to get some cool more stuff on the channel coming up. So appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Level M.
Peace.